Heads up, Rejuvenation. We're coming up on our 15-year anniversary. That's right, 15 years of Fresh. And we have a huge sale planned for you. So head over to our website and subscribe to our newsletter to be one of the first to get on the deals. Thank you for 15 years of your support. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Rejuvenator channel. I'm Vick Almighty. We drop weekly content on Mondays and Thursdays, showing you guys how to clean, restore, and customize your sneakers. Before we get to it, make sure you hit the subscribe on our channel. Now for today's project, we are taking care of the Red Cement Jordan 3s. As you can see, these shoes have seen better days. They are pretty cooked. The cool thing about this project is I'm going to show you guys the best way to clean up your Jordan 3s, repaint the midsoles, and do other details to make the shoe look brand new. And with the knowledge I share with you guys, you can apply it to any Jordan 3 and more. So let's get to work. To start any restoration, the first thing I'm going to do is give this shoe a good deep clean, especially on this sneaker. It's extremely dirty inside and out. It also has a funky smell to it.
A smelly smell that smells smelly.
I'm only going to be focusing on the right shoe for before and after purposes. I'm going to put this one to the side. Next, I'm going to take out the shoelace and insole to clean those up separately. When it comes to the deep clean, trust me, take the extra time and clean up the insole and the lace. Yes, it's extra work, but it goes a long way. You don't want to spend all that time cleaning up the shoe just to put a dirty insole back inside the sneaker. It makes no sense. Plus, it only takes a couple minutes to get it clean. The washing machine takes care of the rest. Next, two things gotta happen. I'm gonna be using our soft bristle brush and go next door to use the compressor. Between those two steps, I'm gonna remove a lot of this dust and grime that's sitting on the surface. It's gonna make it a lot easier to clean up the sneaker during the pre-treatment process. Let's go next door. Now this shoe had a ton of debris on the inside, bunch of old grass that came out. Super satisfying to see how it looks now. Now that step by itself is gonna make this cleaning so much easier to execute. I'm gonna start off by popping the shoe tree inside the sneaker. So you can see at the moment, there's a lot of heavy creasing going on in the toe box. The shoe is also out of shape. For the shoe tree, it's gonna sit inside during the cleaning, washing, and drying process in order to get it back to its original shape. Now I'm gonna grab our Rejuvenator solution, squirt 2 squirts of our highly concentrated solution in the bowl of water. All prep, ready to go. The first brush I'll be using is a soft bristle brush. I'll be using this one for the outside and the inside in a circular motion to create the most suds and break down the grime the fastest. That's what I like about the soft bristle brush. It does a great job cleaning up the outside and inside without damaging any of the delicate materials such as the elephant print. Now for the next one, we're on to the medium bristle brush. For this brush, I'll be taking care of the leather once again. The leather's gotta be as clean as possible. I'm also gonna be giving the midsole a good scrub, and while I'm at it, the plastic hardware such as the back tab. All right, uppers are basically done, you guys. Overall, no issues at all. No bleeding from any materials. Everything looks nice and clean. We just gotta take care of the soles. Now, typically, I would move on to the stiff bristle brush, but this shoe is heavily worn. Just by looking at the toe cap and the soles, the grime is deep inside the texture. I could use the stiff bristle brush, but it'll take a little bit more TLC to get it fully off. So I'm gonna skip that one and move straight to using the brass bristle. These bristles are a lot stiffer. It's gonna get the job done a little bit faster. Even with the stronger brush, this took a while with a ton of strength, but I'm excited with how these turned out. That sole looks almost brand new. Obviously with some stars missing and a little bit of heel drag, but new enough. Now before I can put this shoe into the washing machine to complete the cleaning process, we've got to take care of the shoelace and the insole. Shoelace is easy, it's black. For the insole, I'm gonna go back to the medium bristle brush, give this a good scrub before we put it in the wash. All right, to complete the job, let's grab our Rejuvenator laundry bag, put the shoe inside. Can't forget the shoelace and the insole. All right, detergent pods should be in the washroom. Let's go finish the job. Now, when it comes to the washing machine, you guys, you just wanna use cold water with the regular cycle. That's all you need. This is what's gonna make the magic happen though. All you need is one pod. Part 1 of this restoration is complete. The sneaker's all cleaned up. By the time I got the shoe out of the washing machine, it was nighttime, so I put it next to a fan, let it dry overnight. I do want to point out one thing though. Once the pre-treatment was done, the shoe was looking really good to the point where I could have probably not put the shoe in the washing machine. However, this sneaker's been heavily worn, and anytime I work on a B sneaker, I prefer to put it in the washing machine. There's a ton of germs all around the sneaker, especially on the inside. During the pre-treatment process, yes, you're cleaning it up and using a towel to wipe off the grime and dirt. However, some of that stuff stays behind inside the sock liner, inside the foam of the shoe. The only way to fully flush that stuff out is by using the washing machine. Not every shoe can go in the washing machine, but if it can, I would recommend to do so. Now, before I can move on to anything else in this restoration, I gotta take care of the yellowing all around the sole. On the toe cap specifically, there's a ton of yellowing. On the gray area back here, the Jordan 3s are notorious for also turning a different color. This is supposed to be a lighter gray. On the bottom, all the gray has a slight tint to it, and same thing with the white. Basically, I gotta put this entire sole in the indoor setup. First, I'm gonna apply some Rejuvenator Sole Revive onto the entire bottom and the side of the toe cap. I'm gonna put some plastic wrap over it, put in the Vick 2000. I'm gonna let it sit in there for a few hours. I might rotate it a couple different ways just to make sure the UV rays hit the entire sole. Part 2 of this process is complete. The toe cap, back to fully white. Even the gray area, it's hard to tell on camera, but in person, it's back to its original tint. The entire sole is looking brand new. Once the yellowing was fully out from the soles, I put the shoe into the box regularly, just so I could let the UV rays beam all over the uppers of the sneakers. There was also a ton of yellowing on the Nike Air back tab. Now it's back to white, thanks to the indoor setup. Now moving on to the next biggest issue is the midsole. There's a ton of cracking on the black and the white. The only way to fix that is by repainting it. But before I can lay down some fresh new paint, all the old paint's gotta come off. Now for this process, you can do a couple different things. You can acetone, you can even sand it off. With acetone, sometimes you risk damaging the midsole if you scrub too hard or oversaturate it. So in this case, I'm gonna be using some Sneaker Dog PGR. This stuff removes old glue and paint. All you gotta do is let it sit on the paint for less than a minute. It starts to bubble right up and you just scrape off all the old paint. The thing you gotta watch out for, you don't wanna get any of this stuff on the upper or your skin. First things first, I'm gonna tape off the upper. All right, all taped up. When you tape up a sneaker, before you use this stuff, you wanna make sure it's fully solid on the top area. You don't want any of this stuff to leak under. I'm gonna lay this down and with some paper towels, wipe it off. PGR did a great job removing this old paint. The paint job on this sneaker was pretty thick. If I was to just use acetone, it would have taken me forever to get this paint off. Even with PGR, it took a little bit of time, but it's looking good. To complete the job, I'm gonna finish removing the old paint that's left on the midsole still with some acetone and cotton balls. The thing is, I'm just gonna let the cotton ball do all the work. I don't wanna scrub into the midsole. All right, this one was a tough one, but I got all the paint off where it matters. Midsole's good, all the little crevices and details. Air units all cleaned up. Now I'm gonna go ahead and tape off the uppers, soles, and air units. Now for the paint job, I'm gonna start off with laying down some white paint. Once the white paint's good, I'll move on to the black. For the white, I'll be using opaque white from Jacquard. The trick to it is to lay down thin, even coats with the airbrush. In between, use a heat gun to dry it. Once the paint is looking nice and solid, we'll move on to the sandpaper method. White paint is fully solid. Now when it comes to airbrushing white, in order to get it solid, it takes a lot of coats. When you lay down a lot of coats, the paint job tends to get pretty rough. The only way to get rid of that and get it nice and smooth is by using some sandpaper. On this one, I'm using some 600 grit. I'm gonna go back and forth all around the white until it's perfectly smooth, get rid of all the debris. After that, we'll finish it out with 1 or 2 more coats. White part of the paint job is complete. It's looking factory. When it comes to the sanding, don't skip out on that step. It really takes the paint job to the next level. Now moving on to the black paint, this part is crucial for any Jordan 3 or 4. The line's gotta be perfect. There's 2 ways to achieve that. The first one being, you gotta have clean tape. I'm using Scotch tape. As you can see on the opposite side, it's covered in debris. What I did was, I grabbed a piece of tape and I simply just went over the entire edge of the tape to remove all the lint. Makes a big difference. All the debris that's right there gets in the way of having a straight, sharp line. The second thing is, when it comes to a Jordan 3, I basically only use 3 pieces of tape, 1 small one on the side, another small one on this side, and 1 big piece of tape all around. You basically just gotta stretch and pull to get that piece of tape all around. That's the best way to get 1 continuous sharp line. Check this out. 1, 2, and 3. Now for the most part, I did use 3 pieces of tape. However, I did add some more to cover up the rest of the white midsole so I don't get any black on those areas. I also added some extra tape on both sides of the air unit to avoid getting any overspray from the airbrush inside the air unit area. Now for this part, I'm going to be using some black paint through the airbrush. Now that's a paint job. Let's take off the tape so we can go outside and protect it with some matte finish. Midsole repaint is fully complete. Nice sharp lines all around. No paint where there shouldn't be. Spot on. Now to wrap up this restoration, there's one tiny detail I want to take care of. On the inside, there's a tiny little scratch that requires a little touch up. Normally, I would kind of ignore this because it's very small, but I'm pretty sure one of you guys is going to be restoring this shoe at home, might have a scratch on the red leather and is going to want the color match. I'm going to try to get the perfect color match using these colors. I've never actually mixed it before. I'm thinking about starting with the chili red. It's the most vibrant red color. After that, I'm going to mess around with the orange and hot pink. Duller to remove the shine. After that, I'm hoping I can get the perfect color match. These colors is all you need. Now for the most part, this restoration is complete. The touch-up is spot on. Now one more detail I want to try to take care of before I lace it up is the back tab. This happens to all Jordan 3s and 4s after some wear and tear. There's some shiny scuffs right here on the side. I'm going to try to minimize it using some acetone and cotton balls. Sometimes it fully comes off, sometimes it doesn't. It all depends on how bad it is. The only thing I do want to watch out for is not letting the acetone touch the elephant print or the red paint. Final detail, let's lace them up. Alright guys, that's going to bring us to an end on this full restoration on these Red Cement Air Jordan 3s. With a few simple steps, I was able to turn the shoe completely around. As you can see in the before, it was completely cooked inside and out. And for the after, we have a clear day and night restoration. The 3 biggest things that made a difference for this shoe was giving the shoe a good deep clean inside and out. Like I mentioned, the shoe didn't necessarily have to go in the washing machine, but because of how beat they were and covered in bacteria, it makes sense to put these beaters in the washing machine every single time. Also, our rejuvenated shoe tree completely reshaped the sneaker. The toe box has a nice shape to it. Creasing is gone. Same thing with the back. You gotta put the shoe tree during the cleaning process. It makes a big difference every single time. And the third thing was, there was a ton of yellowing on the back tab, the toe cap, and all around the sole. What removed all that was the Vick 2000 and a rejuvenated Sole Revive. And lastly, what also did make a difference in this restoration was the midsole. Had to remove all that cracked paint. I had to spend a lot of time in the prep work to make sure this paint job came out as clean as possible. All the knowledge I shared with you guys today about restoring these Jordan 3s can be applied to mostly any sneaker, especially of course any Jordan 3 colorway. I taught you guys how to properly repaint a Jordan 3 midsole. The key to it is taking your time. Follow all the steps I did, and at the end of it, you'll have the exact same results. As always, you can find all our products at rejuvenator.com. Use promo code CEMENT20 to save 20% on your next order. Let me know in the comment section down below what I should work on next. This is Vick Almighty. I'll catch you guys next time. See you guys.